Okay, so the purpose of the session, as you may know, it's entailing Unit 9 and your assignment 2 and prepping you for that as well, okay? So Unit 8, under Unit 8 last week, there was a recording that has been uploaded. So if you go under Unit 8, you'll find a screen recording of Unit 8 explaining the content there. So for Unit 9, I'm just going to upload the slides here. It will appear in a while. Just a second. Okay, there it is. All right, you should be able to view it on your screen on your side as well in a second or two. All right, so can everyone see the screen? Thank you. Okay, right. So Unit 9, if you read your content, it's dealing with logistics control. Okay, so your learning outcomes for Unit 9 is you must be able to define, control, and explain the control cycle. Right. Also define quality in logistics management. Explain the management of performance in logistics, and identify and explain what exactly is the components of the score model? Firstly, what is the score model and what are the components found in the score model as well, okay? So with the definition of control, you can say that control involves undertaking, consistent overseeing of functions in management or in the company, right? It basically refers to everything that is being carried out in accordance with a plan which has been adopted. So the orders which have been given and the principles which have been laid down. So its objective is to point out mistakes so that they can be rectified and prevented from occurring, right, or reoccurring in future. So the logistics control system now, right, it involves setting goals and standards for performance, measuring performance, and taking corrective actions. So various methods such as productivity ratios, flexible budgets, standards, control charts, and audits can be used to measure the performance of logistics activities. Right, so that's the logistics control system, what role it plays, and what exactly is that, okay? The next you have on the next slide, right, you will be able to see what we discuss as the control process. Now, the control process, it involves 4 stages or 4 steps rather. Okay, so step one is you must be able to establish control standards. So this is the first step in the control process, and the control standards are targets against which subsequent performance is compared, and they should meet certain criteria. So they should be expressed in measurable terms, be consistent with the business goals. It must be realistic, something that the business can achieve, and identify performance indicators. Then you have step 2, which is measure actual performance. So the second step in the control process is to measure actual performance, right? This step involves collecting data and reporting on actual performance. So the variables should be reliable and quantifiable to make meaningful comparison possible, right? And each of these steps are also explained in your study guide. Then you have step 3. The third step is involves comparing measured performance against established standards. So that is evaluation of deviations. Okay, so actual performance may be higher than or lower than or identical to the standard. So if actual performance is higher than the standard, it may mean that the standard could have been determined too low and should be higher in the future. Step 4 is take corrective action. So the fourth and last step in the control process is to determine the need for corrective action. Now, this step is aimed at achieving or bettering the performance standard and ensuring that differences do not occur. Okay. And if there are significant deviations, corrective action may include improving the actual performance, revising the strategy, or even lowering the performance standards as well. Okay. Then we're going to look at, after explaining, right, the control process. So the control process is quite simple. There's 4 steps. You must be able to establish control standards, measure actual results, evaluate deviations, and take corrective action, right? Then you also have the control process, the logistics control process, right? So you shouldn't get confused. You have the control process, and secondly, you have the logistic control process as well, right? It's easy to get confused, but you just have to remember that it's very similar as well. It's just that with the logistics, it control process, it focus more on the logistics side, right? So step 1 is set logistics control standards, right? There are various logistics industry standards from the International Organization of Standardization that can assist logistic businesses manage their operations. Okay, step 2 is measure actual logistics performance. So in the steps, actual logistic performance needs to be measured. For example, determine total sales revenue, service level cost, transportation level cost, warehouse cost, inventory cost, quality delivered to customers, the security of information, etc., right? And a number of disruptions that the business can actually overcome. Step 3 is evaluate deviation between standards set and actual logistics performance. Now, this step compares the measured actual logistics performance with the standards in step 1. And then step 4, you take corrective action in terms of logistics performance, right? So here in step 4, it is important to set parameters for the gap between the standard set and the actual logistics performance. So deviations that are larger than the parameters need corrective action and intervention from, of course, management, right? So that is the logistics control process. It also has 4 steps, but it focuses more on logistics side of it. Then you have quality in logistics management, right? Quality is important in every aspect of the business. So logistics quality is a quality term which refers to the suitability of a company to provide the logistics services required by the customer. A logistics service is fulfilled when the customer receives the right goods in the right quantity at the right time and of course in the right place. So quality is very important because the product as well has to be delivered to the customer, ensuring it's the right quality, the right product itself, it's at the right location, at the right time, and the customer ordered it, etc. Right? So those factors play a very important role. Right, even in so there's also 3 levels of quality, right? You have quality itself, and then you have 3 levels. And first one, namely quality management, then you have quality assurance, as well as quality control as well, right? Which plays a very important role in ensuring that there's quality delivered to customers. Okay, so with quality management, it refers to the assembly and management of all business activities, with the aim of producing quality products or delivering quality service. Okay, with quality assurance, the assurance of quality refers to the combination of all planned and systematic actions that are necessary to provide confidence that a product, process, or service will satisfy the stated quality requirements. And then lastly, quality control, it refers to the implementation of a process such, that is necessary to satisfy quality requirements as well. Okay, so these are the 3 types of, or the 3 levels of quality: quality management, quality assurance, and quality control. It's also explained in much greater detail in your study guide as well, right? Each of these 3. Then you also have the management of performance in logistics. Now, KPIs are very important, key performance indicators. It's what we set in order to standards to be measured in logistics. So first one, you have inventory management performance, then you have transport management performance, warehouse management performance, order fulfillment performance, customer service performance. So these are all KPIs that can be used to be measured in logistics itself. Okay, and it's also explained what each of these are in your study guide as well. Right? And then lastly, we come to the SCORE model. Now, the SCORE model basically means the supply chain operations reference, right? It's a model that assists businesses to evaluate and improve supply chain management for reliability, consistency, and efficiency, especially in terms of sales and operational planning. So supply chain is very complex. We know it's always changing, it's dynamic as well, right? And in addition, sales and operational planning can be extremely difficult, okay? Because that is so complex. Now, when you're trying to plan according, with sales and operation as well, it becomes very difficult or a challenge to the business as well. Right? But the SCORE model is based on 6 management processes. Okay, you have plan, source, make, deliver, return, and of course, enable as well, right? So that's the SCORE model with the 6 management um, principles as well. Okay. So when we speak about plan, now planning process, it includes determining resources, requirements, and the chain of communication for a process to ensure it aligns or aligns with business goals. Right? With source processes involves obtaining goods and services to meet planned or actual market demand. With make, this includes processes that takes the finished products and make them market ready to meet planned or actual demand. Then you have deliver, any processes involved in delivering finished products or services to meet either planned or actual demand fall under this, right? Under deliver, and including, for example, order, transportation, and distribution management. Then you have return. Now, return processes are involved with returning or receiving return products, either from customers or, of course, from suppliers as well. And this includes post-delivery customer support processes, right? And then you have lastly, enable. This includes processes associated with supply chain management, such as business rules, facilities performance, data resources, contracts, compliance, and risk management as well. Okay. So that summarizes the SCORE model based on 6 management processes as well. Okay, so that comes to the end of Unit 9 as well, right? So I want to discuss more importantly your assignment 2, okay? So similar to your assignment 1, your FA2 is basically, firstly, it's due, very important, it's due on the 13th of November, right? Secondly, it includes Unit 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, right? So remember FA1, you have to learn from Unit 1, 2, 3, and 4. So FA2 is Unit 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And it will be very, very similar to how FA1 is, where you'll get questions from different units, but it's everything that you have covered and everything that we have done. Okay, if you haven't completed FA1, please, I advise you to complete it, right? It's still open, so you are able to complete FA1, and you can also complete FA2, which is due on the 13th of November. So it includes Unit 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, right? And it's basically everything that we have covered from those units, okay? So Unit 5, just to refresh your memory, Unit 5, remember we dealt with transportation. Unit 6 is reverse logistics. Unit 7 is customer service. Unit 8 is international logistics. Unit 9 is logistics control, right? So it will be only MCQs. There's no true or false. Well, actually, there is true or false, but there's no matching column, short, long questions. No. Your FA2 is same like your FA1 with only multiple choice questions, where you select your answer as well. And the pass mark is 50%. So you must get 50% in order to pass FA2 as well. Okay. Um, and it's due on the 13th of November, right? So please, I urge you guys, if you haven't completed FA1, there's a lot of students that haven't completed FA1, to please complete FA1 first before completing FA2. It's very important. It goes towards your final mark as well, right? So you have to complete your O3 assessments in order to pass this course as well, okay? So I'm just gonna also check here on ICANN. Under your assignment 2, yes, okay, so there will be questions, where randomly from unit 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So if you went over 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, you will be perfectly fine for your FA2. So it's same, the questions randomized, the system randomized the questions, like how we did for FA1. So if you go in the second time and attempt it, there'll be a different set of questions, okay, from same units, but just different order as well and different set of questions, okay, like how you attempted with FA1. The second time you attempted, it was different, right? So same here with FA2. It's multiple choice questions only, and also it's the pass mark is 50%. It's due on the 13th of November, and you have to learn unit 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Guys, if you have any questions, you can post it on this chat here as well if there's anything you're unsure about also.